Okay. So we'll start with the predictive parsing. If you remember the previous class, what we were talking about, we were talking about something on the recursive descent parsing, which is also termed as top-down parsing. And then we went on with identifying the first and follow of certain terminals. So if we just look at it, if you remember, you if x is a terminal, that was the one which we discussed in the last class. If x is a terminal, then first of x would be x in set notation. If x is a non-terminal, x is a product, x is a non-terminal, where x produces one second, x produces epsilon, first of x is epsilon. If you have, for example, x produces and production of this type, and the first grammar symbol leads to a terminal, then that terminal is part of the first symbol. But then if it is a non-terminal, you are supposed to take first of x. So this is what we have generalized it as. But then to understand, one second. Understand this concept more specifically, you have the following informations. If x is a terminal, this is in nutshell. If x is a terminal, then first of x is x itself within set notation. And then if x is non-terminal, NT stands for non-terminal. Then we'll go for the three cases. The first case is you have a production saying x produces epsilon. Then first of x would be epsilon as such. Okay, now we'll do a minor change over here for the next one. If x produces a, with followed by any sequence of grammar symbols, we'll take it as a alpha, and first of x would be a. And the last one is if x produces something as y1, y2, so on and so forth, then first of x would be first of y1. Or in general, it is first of x would be first of y1 concatenated with y2. We'll find out what the reason is. But if you want, you can just take first of y1 and then proceed with it. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to do. Now, having said this, this was the set of productions which we were talking about in yesterday's class. The first step of predictive parsing is to convert, eliminate left recursion if there is any. The second set of step is to remove left, it's to perform left factoring if required. And then we'll move in for the first and follow of all the terminals and non-terminals. So let me have first of all the terminals followed by, for first of all the non-terminals followed by follow of all the non-terminals. To start with, we'll go ahead with the non-terminal. We'll go ahead with the non-terminal E dash. Instead of going ahead with E, let me start with E dash. So we'll just take up each and every non-terminal over here, and then we'll decide on how it works. So we'll have T, T dash, and F. Now, to go ahead with first of E dash, if you just check, E dash has two alternatives. So now the question is, which production should I choose to find first of E dash? You have to choose the production where E dash comes on the left-hand side. So if I choose in general, if I use a terminal, if I have to find first of a non-terminal, choose the production with that non-terminal as the left-hand side of the production. So if I have to choose, find first of uh, T, then I have to go ahead with the third production where T comes on the left-hand side. If I have to find first of F, I have to go ahead with the last production where F comes on the left-hand side. So to identify E dash, we'll go ahead with the second production and take the first character on the right hand side. So you have two alternatives. The first alternative, the first character is a terminal. The second alternative, it is epsilon, and therefore first of E dash would be plus and epsilon. First of E dash would be plus and epsilon. What about first of T dash? To identify first of T dash, it is star and epsilon. So you take T dash, which is the fourth production, where T dash occurs on the left hand side, which is followed by the first character is star, and for the second alternative, it is epsilon. So you have star, comma, epsilon. Fine. Now we'll move ahead with the next one. We'll go ahead with first of F. To identify first of F, we have to go ahead with the last production, where F comes on the left-hand side. To the right, the first character is opening parenthesis, which is a terminal, and then identifier, which is also another terminal. So first of F would be opening parenthesis, comma, identifier. Fine. And then moving on to E. If I have to find first of E is T. The first non-term is a non-terminal, which is T. So I have to include first of T. I cannot include T as such, because in a set of elements which occur as first, it has to be a set of terminals. Epsilon is allowed, and therefore I cannot include T. Rather, I'll take it as first of T. Now, what is this first of T all about? To find first of T, I'll go ahead with the third production. And the first character on the right hand side is F. So first of T becomes now first of F. Now let us see what is first of F. First of F is already what we have found out. It is opening parenthesis and identifier. So I will include opening parenthesis and ID over here. Now, first of T, we have to again check it out. So what is first of T? We'll go ahead with the third production. First of T is equal to first of F. What is first of F? It is opening parenthesis and ID. So first of T is based on first of F, which is opening parenthesis and identifier. Fine. So we now will summarize it. If X is a terminal, first of X is the terminal itself. If X is a non-terminal, you have three different kinds of productions. The first production is X produces epsilon. In that case, first of X is epsilon. In the next type of production, it is X produces A alpha. A is a terminal, and therefore first of X is A. In the third production, X produces a non-terminal, and therefore first of X is that non-terminal as such. Andrew, do you have any questions?
No, yes, ma'am. Can you repeat that first of E and last of?
Okay, ma'am. So now we'll take it step by step. First of, let me go ahead with first of E dash. To identify first of E dash, you take the second production where E dash comes on to the left. Take the first character, which are terminals. So I have included plus and epsilon. What about T dash? T dash will take the fourth production. The first character on the right hand side of both the alternatives or terminals. It is either a terminal or epsilon. So I have included star and epsilon. But when it comes to F, again it is opening parenthesis and identifier. We have included both of it. But when it comes to first of, let me take first of T. First of T, the first character on the right hand side is F. And so I have considered it as first of F. I cannot include first of F as such. I have to take first of F. What is first of F? We have already derived it to be opening parenthesis and identifier, which I have included it here. Moving on to E, I have to use the first production. So now first of E is first of T. Because T is the first character, we are supposed to take first of T. What is first of T? First of T, we have identified it as opening parenthesis and ID. How did I get it? First of T, when I take it, it is first of F. What is first of F? First of F is opening parenthesis and identifier, and therefore you have opening parenthesis and ID here. Can I move on to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we'll have few questions. Let us take, apart from this, we'll take few problems just to check whether we have understood first of the terminals and non-terminals. Suppose you have an equation of this form. S produces AAB or BC. Now for this production, S produces AAB or BC. Can I have first of S onto the chat box, please? For the given production, S produces AAB or BC. Can I have first of S onto the chat box, please? Madan has said it's AB. Can I have the response from the others, please? Okay, so it's A and B. Now we'll move on to another type of question. Okay, let me do a little bit of changes here. Now tell me what is first of S. Can we have the polls in that case? Let me stop sharing. We'll go for I think there are only 8 votes so far. Can you answer it quickly? Okay, let me end the poll. So now for the question, S produces A, B, or B or C, with A produces whatever it is. For the second alternative, if you use the second alternative, it is B. And if we go for the first alternative, since A is a non-terminal, I am supposed to take first of A, and therefore it is a small a comma B. So the option is the last one. Now, if you have any doubts, you can raise hands, or else we'll move forward. Fine. Now I'll add one more condition to the given grammar. The condition to be added is, I'll just say A produces A, B, or epsilon. Now tell me what is the first of S. I have made a change in this part. Just tell me what is first of S. Okay, you have questions. It's A comma B. Can I have more answers, please? Okay, good that you have responded. We'll try to understand what it is. All those who have said A, B, and C are correct. But then how it is so? When I say first of yes, it becomes first of A, yeah, first of AB. Okay, that is how we represent. First of AB, comma, B. B is a terminal, so we are not going to bother about it. But the question is the first of AB. Now, first of AB, A has two options. Either it can be AB or epsilon. So how does this string get converted to? The string gets converted to, this string AB gets converted to, I'll write it here just for our understanding. The string AB gets converted to AB with capital B. How am I doing it? I am substituting the alternatives of A. And if I substitute epsilon, it's B. So if I have to find first of AB, it becomes A or B as such. What is first of B? First of B is C. And therefore, the answer is A, B, and C. You won't have epsilon. You will have epsilon to be included in another case. We'll take up another example where you will have that part. But as of now, when I substitute epsilon, it refers to the next string B, which doesn't produce epsilon. And therefore, first of B is C, which is included directly over here. Any clarifications? Should I explain it again? It's the same first of a non-terminal where the complexity of your production is increased a bit. That's it. Hope you have understood the concept. Am I right? Okay, now I'll do a little one more addition to it. Now tell me what is first of yes. Can I have the answers on the chat box, please? What is first of S? Okay. Now the answer is A, B, C, and epsilon. If we have any other answers, you can just put it onto the chat box so that we'll verify it. It is A, B, C, and epsilon. Fine. So this is how you try to understand what is first of a non-terminal. So these are all the variations what you have. Coming back, we'll go on to the next one, which is follow of all the non-terminals. Now to find first of a non-terminal, which one did we really follow? We follow the productions where the non-terminal occurred on the left-hand side. But for follow, we'll choose the production where that non-terminal comes on the right-hand side of a production. Okay, so we have three rules again. So these three rules, I'll just type it again so that it is easy for us to understand. First one, if S is the starting symbol, okay, how do I identify the starting symbol of a grammar? There are two ways in which you can identify. The first way is, given a grammar, explicitly they would have specified that E or S or A is the starting symbol of the grammar. Okay, in a question paper, if a grammar is defined, sometimes they would specify that the starting symbol of the grammar explicitly. And there are two ways of defining it. The one way is they can always say S is the starting symbol of the grammar, or they'll say a grammar G defined as V, comma T, comma E, comma P. Now, what is it? The third parameter is the starting symbol of the grammar. In original definition, this would be S. So if this is given, S is the starting symbol of the grammar. In case the third parameter is E, E is the starting symbol of the grammar. In case this third parameter is A is the starting symbol of the grammar. So how do I define the starting symbol of the grammar? It would have been defined explicitly. Now, if this is not given, if only the set of productions are given, how do I identify the starting symbol of the grammar? That is your second point. If only the productions are given, the first left-hand side, the left-hand side non-terminal of the first rule acts as the starting symbol of the grammar. I'll repeat. The left-hand side non-terminal of the first rule acts as the starting symbol of the grammar. So we define if S is the starting symbol of the grammar, follow of S will be dollar symbol. If S is the starting symbol of the grammar, follow of S would be starting symbol. The reason is the S will derive the complete input string, and once you give the input string, you should give an N marker. Here the N marker is dollar sign, and that is why we specify follow of S is dollar sign. So if whenever you take an input for parsing, it has to know, we always go for end of file, right? Till you read the last part of the file, you say you have to go and read. Now, how do I represent it? I represent it as dollar sign. So if S is the starting symbol of the grammar, from the starting, you can derive all possible inputs. And once the input ends, to indicate that is the end of input, we use a dollar symbol. And therefore, follow of S is dollar symbol. And if you haven't understood, the crisp way of understanding. If S is the starting symbol of the grammar, follow of S would be dollar sign. Now we'll go on for the productions. If I have a production of the form A produces AB, now to identify follow of B, for B is the last character on the right hand side. Okay, B is the last character on the right hand side. So follow of B will be equivalent to follow of A. follow of B would be equivalent to follow of A. Now I'll generalize it more. I don't want a single terminal. I can have any number of terminals to it. So terminals or non-terminals to it. So it's a grammar symbol alpha. So if the non-terminal for which we have to find the follow of the non-terminal, if it occurs as the last character on the right-hand side, the follow of the left-hand side variable will be assigned to this particular non-terminal. Now I'll do a little bit of change in the given production. Sorry. If B comes somewhere in the middle, it can be in the as the first character or the last character or somewhere in the middle. Now, how do I do it? After B, there is something which follows. So, follow of B would be first of beta. Would be first of beta. So these are the three things which you have to have in mind. The other one is epsilon cannot be included sometimes. So we have to check for other things if epsilon should be there or should not be there. So as of now, you have only three rules. If S is the starting symbol of the grammar, follow of S is $sign. If A produces alpha B, where B occurs as the last character, follow of B will be equal to follow of A. And if B occurs somewhere in the middle on the right-hand side of the production, then it is followed by first of B, the substring, what occurs to the, what follows B. With this understanding, now we'll try to go ahead with solving the problem. Now, E is the starting symbol of the grammar. Okay, and invariably, the follow of E would be $sign. E is the starting symbol of the grammar. Invariably, E is added at this follow sign because of the first alternative. Now you have to take the production where E occurs on the right-hand side. E occurs on the right-hand side in the last production, which is followed by a terminal closing parenthesis. So, follow of E would be closing parenthesis also. So what has happened? I have included $sign because E acted as the starting symbol. I have also included closing parenthesis because to E is followed by the closing parenthesis in the last one. And therefore, follow of E is closing parenthesis. Now, what about follow of E dash? You look at it, E dash comes in the first production as well as in the second production. In the first production, follow of E dash comes as the last character. So follow of E dash will be equivalent to follow of E. And therefore, follow of E dash is equivalent to follow of E, which is $, closing parenthesis. Okay. Now let us move on to follow of T. What is follow of T? Can I have it on the chat box, please? What is follow of T? Okay, T comes on to the right-hand side. T is followed by E dash. So I'll take first of E dash. It's not follow of T, Thambi. Follow of T is first of E dash. So it is first of E dash. But thank you for your response. First of E dash. What is first of E dash? We'll take it from here. It is plus an epsilon. It is plus an epsilon. Now, epsilon is not recommended in follow because there are certain cases for it. You will not have epsilon in the parsing table. And therefore, if epsilon comes into picture, okay, because of epsilon. Why did epsilon come? Because of first of E dash. And therefore, for epsilon, let me include follow of E dash. So it becomes plus, comma, follow of E dash. So now what is follow of E dash? follow of E dash is closing parenthesis and dollar sign. Fine. So I'll repeat. It is T. T is followed by E dash. So I have taken first of E dash. First of E dash is, this is according to the third rule, where you have plus and epsilon. Epsilon is not allowed because that doesn't appear in the parsing table, and therefore epsilon came into picture because of first of E dash. Now I have to find out when epsilon is placed, what follows E dash, and therefore I go for follow of E dash, which is closing parenthesis and dollar sign, and therefore you have plus closing parenthesis and dollar sign. Now what is follow of T dash? T dash comes as the last character. Follow of T dash would be follow of T. So follow of T dash would be follow of T, which is plus closing parenthesis and dollar sign. Okay, and then we have follow of F. F is followed by T dash. So I'll take it as first of T dash. First of T dash. What is first of T dash? You have star and epsilon. So I'll take the star and epsilon, sorry. I'll take the star and epsilon and put it here. Instead of epsilon, I have to include follow of T dash. So it becomes star, comma, follow of T dash. Which is star plus closing parenthesis and dollar sign. Okay, so this is all about follow of F. If you have any clarifications, you can ask me now. Okay, now we'll move on to construction of predictive parsing table. Okay, now how do I really construct it? To the row side, I'll include all the non-terminals as one row. So the non-terminals what we have are E, E dash, T and T dash, and also F. So all these four plays a role as rows in the predictive parsing table. On to the column side, I'll add all the symbols or the terminals. So you have plus, we have star, we have ID, then you have opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and then we have star is there. We will not include epsilon. Instead, we'll include dollar sign, and that is one reason follow should not have epsilon to it. Okay, so we'll have plus star ID, opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and dollar sign. Now the question is, where should we really accommodate, and how do I fill it up? So to fill it up, we'll take first of E. What is first of E? First of E is opening parenthesis and identifier, and therefore first of E you have only one production for E. So under opening parenthesis and under identifier, you will have the production E produces E dash to be written. Okay, how do I take it? Under the E, you have to find out what is first of E. What is first of E? First of E is opening parenthesis and identifier. So under opening parenthesis and identifier, you will take E dash. Now, how about first of E dash? First of E dash has two alternatives. The first alternative starts with plus. So E dash under plus, we'll go ahead with the first alternative. E dash under plus, we'll go ahead with the first alternative. Now you have one more alternative which says E dash produces epsilon. Where should I do it? I should enter it under follow of E. You should have to really put it under epsilon. Epsilon is not here. So where would I put it? I'll put it under follow of E. So under follow opening closing parenthesis and dollar, you'll make the entry as E produces epsilon. Right? Now we'll move on to T. What is first of T? Opening parenthesis and identifier. So under these two, we'll have the entry as T produces FT dash. Now the next one, you have T dash produces FT dash star, which we'll entry it under star. Okay. Now the next question comes in. Where should I enter the next one? What is it? It is all T dash produces epsilon. We don't have epsilon. So we'll take follow of T dash. Follow of T dash is three symbols, plus closing parenthesis and dollar sign. So under plus, I'll have the entry as T dash produces epsilon under closing parenthesis as well as under dollar sign. So under these three cases, you have T dash produces epsilon. Now what about F? F has two alternators. One is F produces E within parenthesis. What is the first character? Opening parenthesis is the first character. So under opening parenthesis, I'll have F produces E within parenthesis. You have the second alternative, which is identifier. What is the first character? First character is the identifier. So what I'll do under identifier, I'll have the entry as F produces ID. So this is how parsing table entry is being made. Now, have we completed it? No, we haven't. We have to now parse the given string. So let us parse the string. I'll make it as ID star ID. So for parsing the string, if it is in CFG, what has to be done? A push down automata has to be constructed. But our algorithm, what is there in push down automata? Push down automata has something called as a stack. So we'll talk about the stack content, the input string content, and the actions what we take. Okay. For and top-down parsing, it is top-down parsing. The bottommost element of the stack would be dollar and the starting symbol of the grammar. This input as such will be given to the input stream. The end of the input stream would be dollar sign. Now, how will I check it? I'll check whether I have any entries on E and opening parenthesis. E and opening parenthesis, what do I have? E produces TE dash. So I'll take this one, put it under actions. Instead of E, that is what it means. You are deriving it. So instead of E, you replace it by the right-hand side. So instead of E, I'll replace the right-hand side of the production in reverse order. So it becomes E dash T. I haven't done any changes over here. I'll keep it as such. Now, what about the topmost element of the stack? That is T. T with leftmost character on the input string, which is opening parenthesis. T on opening parenthesis. You have T produces FT dash. So that comes under action. Instead of T, I am replacing it. So I'll have dollar E dash remains. Instead of T, T dash and F comes into picture. This again is the same. Okay. Now F on opening parenthesis. What is F on opening parenthesis? F on opening parenthesis is F produces E within parenthesis. So here you have F produces E within parenthesis. I have to write it in reverse order. So just have a look at it. It is E dash, T dash, and closing parenthesis, E opening parenthesis. Here you have, here you have the input string as such. Now what happens? You have the opening parenthesis here and opening parenthesis as the topmost, leftmost character. If this is the case, you just delete it. So the topmost element of the stack and the leftmost character is deleted. Fine, you can proceed further till you have dollar and dollar. Fine, I'll just finish it off and then you can have a look at it. So the same way it is E and ID, if you just look at it, you will have these two productions which will be replaced. So if that's the case, you will have dollar E with E dash, and this remains the same. This particular thing remains the same. And then you have, with this, you have T dash and F. The input remains the same. And then you will go for F produces ID. How do I do it? It is F on ID. F on ID is F produces ID. Now, once this is done, instead of this part, I have to replace it by ID. Okay. And here you have ID again. So if you just go ahead with this one, you will remove the ID onto the stack and as well as on the, if in the top of the stack and the leftmost character is the same, just delete it. Now what happens to T dash on star? T dash on star is you have this particular thing. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll rewrite it as F and star. If you have epsilon, then you can pop out the element of the stack. Okay, so now star and star will be deleted. F produces ID, you will have all others to be deleted. I'll be a bit fast. The star is deleted. We'll include F produces ID. So what I'll do is star is deleted. Instead of F, I have ID over here. So in this case, ID, closing parenthesis and dollar, ID will also get deleted. So if ID gets deleted, it is T dash on closing parenthesis. So if we say T dash on closing parenthesis, it is T dash on epsilon. So what I'll do, because of this, the next step, T dash alone will get eliminated. And if you have E dash alone will get eliminated. You will accept the string when both of them has dollar sign. Fine. We'll stop it here. If you have any clarifications, you can ask me in offline class. Thank you.